matches that really demand your attention. twsteel.com.
The scenic Virginia International Raceway is the next stop for our GT Pro competitors, as the all-new Studio 397 competition heads stateside for a race on a track that's seen a lot of use across all of our Factor 2's competitions in recent weeks. Heading into this race, Kevin Siggy is the man on top after the previous round at the Nurburgring, while Erhan Yujovski and Rudy Van Buren, who are tipped as favourites, slide down the order after both had terrible races last time out. Yujovski bounced back in the sprint race by putting this move on Nurburgring feature race winner Joni Tormola with just 20 seconds remaining on the clock. So with the feature race reverse grid, it was Wanaka's Borja Milan who took pole, with Hani Al-Sabdi looking to make it into the lead by turn 1. Yuri Kasdorp looking the odd one out in a top 10 dominated by McLarens, as the nature of this track suited the British mark best. Rudy Van Buren was going to be starting down in 27th after an incident-filled sprint race. But with the latest balance of performance being applied to the grid, it could be anybody overtaking anybody over the course of 45 minutes. Milan deactivated the pit limiter on the final corner to lead over the start-finish line and looked to have a safe run into turn 1. But Al-Sabdi was not having any of it and scythed his way past into the braking zone. Yuri Kasdorp went a little deep and drivers tripped all over each other in the lead pack to gain ground, but Al-Sabdi led towards Oak Tree with Milan in hot pursuit. At the start of lap 2, Butler Pal driver Nuno Pinto was pitched into a spin at turn 1 by Kevin Van Duren, while seconds later, Peo Pev and Dennis Lynn tangled, with Pev skating across the grass. Kevin Siggy had dispatched with Yuri Kasdorp, and that left a buffer between Siggy and Risto Capit. Capit tried the outside line into turn 1, but nobody could make it work. Van Buren had made his way up to 17th by the start of lap 3, and his BMW showed a lot of promise in a straight line, as shown when he dispatched with Robin Panzer at the end of the back straight. Tormola was almost sent spinning in the same way Pinto was, but he managed to keep his McLaren pointing in the right direction. After completing a joker lap, he was back on his way, but had lost a few positions. Van Buren then tried to do to Petr Briliak what he did to Panzer, but he couldn't make it stick on this occasion. As the saying goes, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And he finally managed to get past Briliak with this switchback onto the pit straight. That put RVB up into 14th place. Kasdorp meanwhile in the Audi was holding on to 4th place, albeit leading a bit of an impatient queue. But the Singularity driver was able to cover off all attempts on his position into turn 1. Al-Sabdi had to relinquish his lead at the end of lap 6. A drive-through carried over from the Nürburgring allowed Milan back through into the lead. But at least it's a shorter pit lane at VIR, so at least that lessened the sting a little bit. Milan made the most of it, with this being the view in his rear-view mirror with Al-Sabdi out the way. Then the track claimed its first victim with just over 20 minutes on the clock remaining. Manuel Biancalilla went wide at the first part of Oak Tree and got sucked into the tyre wall. The car's suspension was damaged, which meant lengthy repairs. Van Duren was then given a cheeky nudge from Daniel Pastor on entry to turn 1 as 5 cars battled for position. He was almost then hit by one of the Williams Esports cars, but he resumed down in 17th place with no damage. Oak Tree's tyre wall seemed to have its own gravitational pull, this time pulling in Nikodem Wisniewski. A missing rear wing involved him treading very, very carefully back to the pit lane for repairs. Van Buren then completed his comeback drive, snatching 3rd place in the dying minutes of the race. As with most of his other overtakes, he passed Yujovski into the chicane at the end of the back straight to get himself onto the podium. On the next lap, Risto Capet and Kevin Ryan diced in the same place, and Risto was pitched into the tyre wall. Like Wisniewski, he ended up missing his rear wing and had to get it back to the pit lane for some repairs. But even though Kevin Siggy pulled in the gap towards the end of the race, it was a seemingly easy win for Boyha Milan in the one-acre McLaren. Siggy took
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the one and only the best, and definitely the best looking GT series out there in the world. It's the rFactor2 GT Pro Series, here presented by the Race and Fan Attack. Once again, behind the microphone, it's my name, Renee Butler, and alongside me is Lee Smith and Aidan Millward. Guys, are you ready for Imola action?
Absolutely, it's a halfway stage. This is it. Like all the points that have been gathering throughout, we're starting to see the front runners really starting to set the pace now. And we had some pretty damn exciting races. The last race was very action-packed. You've just seen, obviously, the highlights for it all. There was a lot going on there. Aidan covering everything for us.
Yeah, I've actually got the instant race report for the last race in front of me, so I'll be able to tell you exactly what's going to go on when you start seeing drivers pull into the pit lane. I've got all the championship standings, and I've got lots of bits and pieces up to bring to you over the course of the 15 and 45-minute races we've got for you tonight.
Obviously, we're heading to Imola for round 4. Once again, it's simple 50-minute sprint race. Then we reverse the top 10, and then we go into the 45-minute main race here. 6 rounds in total. That's what we will do in the GT Pro Series, just alongside the actual GT Challenge Series that you see next Monday. But before we get into racing action or qualification, let's have a quick look which tracks are coming up next for you. It's Sebring International Raceway, and then a quite long French name, Circus de la Sarthe. That's obviously Le Mans.
Obviously, it's easy. Actually, you know what? I watched Ford versus Ferrari again recently, so I'm well into my GTs right now. Like getting back on there.
Perfect preparation. Just as a reminder for everyone out there, there's obviously money on the line as well. There's 10k across our 6 rounds and then 5k at the end. The split you see on your screen right now. So the race winner of today, of the entire round, not just sprint or main race, it's the entire round, gets 500 and then down 350, 250, 150. So there's always something to grab, as well as great Fanatec gear, a Club Sport steering wheel Formula V2 for a championship prize, but also the same steering wheel on the actual round, but not with the entire kit, basically, that you get for the championship. So keep that in mind. All the drivers will be on the edge, that's for sure. Not just for the points, not just for bragging rights, but also for the cool prizes we have here provided by the Race and Fan Attack. Talking about being on the edge, that's the current standing of the championship, with Kevin Siggy from McLaren Shadow leading 567 points. So a small lead in front of, I would say, a newly born rFactor2 Pro, Joni Tomola, who really, turned everything up a notch on the Red Bull Racing Esports McLaren that he's using in this championship, and really trying to climb the ranks. Right behind that is the AAA Esports guys, Yajovski and Alsupti. You should be pretty familiar with their names so far. They're also in the Race All-Star Series, basically everywhere, because they know how to do this. And then it's the first red line car, Rudy van Buren. So someone that races in real life and races in sim racing. Top 5, that's it.
Yeah, and if you look at that top 10, you know, quite a few of them were involved in incidents last week that has dropped them down. Like Rudy had a mega performance. I know, you know, a lot of people in the chat are like, oh, he just keeps going on about Rudy van Buren. But this guy came back from 27th and finished about, I think it was about 3rd or 4th in the race. It was an incredible drive. Obviously benefited from a lot of the action, a lot of the accidents that happened throughout it. But You know, Siggy has been constantly performing. He's doing well in qualifying right now, so I expect to see him once again up there contesting for the top spots. And then further down the field, obviously, you know, we've got a couple of people that have done well, like Risto Capit at the top, 11th place, 518 points. Like, he's not that far off. I mean, that's it's easy to gain back. And he was involved in a pretty early spin that sent, I think it knackered his suspension, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he got taken out like the second to last corner, a few minutes from the end. Got spun into one of the tyre walls, lost his rear wing, but he still managed to cross the line in 11th, I think it was, and managed to score some points that way. So he's still in it. But at the end of this season, as it so happens, the bottom 5 drivers will be relegated from this portion of the competition into GT Challenge. I've just got the standings up here, and those drivers, there's 5 of them that will be relegated, and as it stands, that's Davin Mrocek, Jordi Zviers, Jan von der Heide, and speaking of Ciara, have I been able to count to 5, or have I missed one?
No, it's Jordi Zviers was actually being taken out before and replaced by Nuno Pinto. That's
Right.
why he's not on the list here. So currently that will be Max Verstappen, Ronjak, Jan von der Heide, and Zibi Shara. Also to note, Nuno Pinto is racing for AAA Esports now, so he signed a new deal there, so that's not Butler Pal Motorsport anymore here on this list. And another thing to highlight, obviously there's one race that will be cut out of the result at the end of the season, so you can miss one race and your worst result will just be cut. That's how it works. And the next 5, so while the bottom 5 will drop out of Pro immediately, the next 5 will go into playoffs racing against position 6 to 10 from Challenge for the remaining spots on Pro. So in total, the last 10 drivers of GT Pro are somehow, in trouble. You'll either end up with dropping out immediately, or you'll find yourself in a one-day race-off event, basically, where you try to hold on to your GT Pro spot.
So I want to know, has there been any tweaks and changes? Because I do see a Porsche currently holding 3rd place in qualifying.
There were some changes made to the circuit this morning. As you can see, Nick Wisniewski's just gone through Aqua Minerale, which is one of the hot spots for corner cutting because of the way you take that little left-hand kink as you just got up the hill, and they've moved the detection point for the in-game cut track system a little bit further back so you can take a little bit more of that curve. But obviously they want to try and stop the drivers taking the mickey with it and trying to gain too much of an advantage. So that's pretty much been the hot topic of the last few days regarding this track. But I think they've actually added some weight to the 2 McLarens, the 720 and the 650, to try and slow those down a little bit.
We got the qualification on screen now. It's the last 3.5 minutes. I want to highlight, because we're talking about the depth of field here so often and how crazy the skill is among this group. So from 1st to 27th is 0.8 of a second. So even if you can easily just look at this and say, oh, someone is really off pace, right? They're not top 10. But they're 0.8 of a second away from the current leader. That is crazy.
Yeah, it's a fast field. I'm very interested to see 2 Porsches in the top 4 though. This is obviously a big change that the guys, you know, Peo and Schoenveld. I went there, didn't I? Schoenfley. Yeah, I went there and I committed to it, and that was a mistake. Obviously up there challenging, where they have been down the back of the pack in terms of points wise. They are in the lower field, so this few couple of changes could help them. Obviously, it's 19th place, I think it is, for Schoenfeld, and Pio is down in 23rd. So this could be a really good races for the Porsches, judging by the qualifying so far. Obviously, still a bit of time to go.
Yeah, it's definitely the first time that we see a Porsche currently leading the qualification. Peo Path and Daniel Pastor, that's currently on your screen at 17th. Let's see who's around him down there. There will be Peter Bierluck from Edge Esports right in front of him, and then Shara on 18th right now. That's, by the way, 0.5 of a second, basically. In case you didn't notice yet, look at our cool new overlays, because they also now show you splits bottom right of your screen. You see the current running time for Kevin Siggy, our championship leader, and the splits, including a nice little color indication there of how he's doing.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I want to see Wisniewski, who has been running, I would say, fairly unlucky had a disaster in the first race where he got wiped out, and that kind of wrecked his chances. Didn't really score in the sprint race last race either, in race 3. So definitely some big changes, and Wisniewski currently running in second place. So hopefully the Williams driver is going to be stepping up the performance in the starting sprint race here.
Yeah, they were
As I say that, he spins.
They did quite well in the BMW competition, while we see Kevin van Doren now for Team Redline coming across the lines. First sector was looking good. Can he actually improve here? Currently 12th, right in front of Dennis Lind, by the way, who's 13th. And Kevin made it up to 10th. That's a good one, but probably... Oh, can he run another lap, maybe? Because... No, he went back to the pits, all right. Because there's still some time left on the clock. Jimmy Nisola will be the next one crossing the line, currently on 15th. Once again, a very good first sector. Let's see if that also brings him up the leaderboard here on that last try. Nope, didn't really help for him. So Jimmy Nisola stays at 15. That's right behind Nuno Pinto and in front of Peter Biolak. Who else is currently running? Simoncic pulling off. So the Burst Esports driver not going for another run. And then we got Dennis Lind, our real-life GT driver, working for Lamborghini here in a Bentley. Quite unique, because it's the only Bentley that we have in the grid currently. 13. He was dropping a bit after that lap, coming across. No, 14th even. How did that happen?
That's the best position that Bentley's been in all season. He's had a horrific couple of opening rounds at Silverstone and also at the Nurburgring. But Dennis, the Lamborghini factory driver, who took part in the Bathurst 12 out of this year, as it so happens, one of the final races we got to see before we were all plunged into this weird time that we're in right now. So thank you very much for joining us here tonight. But Dennis in 14th, so hopefully he can make something of that. Well, that's a huge spin for David Mrocek at the start-finish line.
He really wanted to improve there, because Mrocek, we talked about that before, he is fighting against a direct dropout of the GT Pro Series at the end of the season. He's currently in 25th, and he was on his way to play a better time, but it wasn't enough. Quite surprising for me is that 24th currently is Risto Capit, and he's in pit, so there's no lap time for him coming in. That is very unusual for the AAA esports star.
Yeah, not only that, Kevin Ryan down in 26th as well, who obviously has been running pretty well in the previous races. So there is a couple of changes, a couple of people maybe not feeling it here at Imola. We'll see. But Peo is on pace. Bianca Lila was the one that basically put the part time in, by the way, that sent Dennis Lind down. So he posted a better run, gets himself 8th place currently standing, and he's now in the pits. So it's looking like we're going to get the current standings as is.
That's one thing to point out, that David Mrocek's actually back after serving a one-race ban for the previous round at Virginia. That was a result of him spinning out, I think it was Rudy Van Buren, and then also Dennis Lind, as Peopev doesn't improve on his final time. Does Jan van der Heijden? No, he doesn't either. So, yeah, David Mrocek is back, but he's still under the watchful eyes of our two race stewards here tonight, which is Jimmy Allison and Ed Trevelyan-Johnson.
Big brother is watching you, basically. Want to make sure that the level is high. Here is the standings, or here are the standings. Oh, really? Not today. For the qualification in Imola, we got Peopath. That's his first pole position in the GT Pro Series, followed by Nikodem Wisniewski from Williams Esports right behind him. Joni Tomola really doing well once again here on third. Fourth, then Kevin Siggy, the current championship leader, and Anja Joski concluding the top 5. Arne Schunflit with another Porsche in 6th, really like that. Joni Simoncic in 7th. That's our first Audi up there. And, the quickest BMW is Zajewski. I just want to say Rudy van Buren is the quickest, but he isn't. So it's McLaren heavy, but we also have more McLarens as any other car in the grid. But it's a Porsche leading here for round 6.
Yeah, which is a big story. Yeah, both two Porsches in the top 6. That's a pretty big story coming into this one. Of course, we'll see whether any of the racers, like I'm seeing, obviously, Jimmy Nisula down in 16th, so a little lower. Al Sabti also high in the points at the moment, is sitting in 13th place. So some of these guys not having a top qualifying, but as you mentioned, like it is all within fraction of a second between these guys. Obviously, it is going to be a rolling start, so going to be running through. I didn't see what corner is it they're allowed to go, and obviously it's going to be down by their pace setter, which would be Peo. This is the sprint race. It is a shorter race. Obviously, we're going to have the 45-minute race after this, and we'll have the top 10 reverse order. Of course, it's all about getting that top 10 to start with. There's still a long way to go.
The place where the leader can actually go is anywhere into Sector 3, which I believe is after just before Variante Alta, which is the very tight chicane, just after Aqua Minerale.
A bit different to the tracks we saw before because they are in Sector 3 and Sector 1. There are a lot of straights. Normally we saw that in Nurburgring. They tried to do that in the chicane and all of that, but with Rivazza and then the run up to Tamburello, there's a lot of space to stretch your legs and really get up to a high speed. So it will be interesting to see how the start works here in Imola. Once again, we see in the grid, Nuno Pinto managed to get 15th for his first race with AAA Esports, Jimmy Nisola in 16th. Once again, we saw that there wasn't even half a second between all of these positions. It's crazy here in the GT Pro Series and how close the times are. So it will be interesting to see how they do in the race, though, because we saw them previous rounds. It's completely different. Once again, it will be important for everyone to kind of be in the top 10, right? If you're 12th, then you want to at least come top 10 or 10th, the best, because then you're on pole position in the main race.
Absolutely, and that's where obviously the points are going to be vital. Everybody getting ready, double file all the way around as they get ready to go. It's going to be Peo Pef, right? Is that the right way of pronouncing him?
Yeah.
Peo Pef, good stuff. He's going to be the man that's going to be setting the pace, setting the lead. Wisniewski alongside him. He's going to be hoping for a good start. He's had some pretty tragic starts. He's had to fight his way back every race, so hoping that he can go well. Dennis Lind also down in 14th, his highest ever start so far in the big old Bentley. We'll see how that's going to handle the pace against these Porsches, McLarens and BMWs that have been dominating over the last 3 races. We'll see whether anything will change.
Beautiful double file now on the view of Peo Pef, our leader. See when he will actually accelerate and get this round started. Right next to him, that is obviously Nikodem Wisniewski, who wants to make a move as quick as possible. Because in sprint race, you want to make sure that you can kind of run away. And he knows that Joni Tomola will be all over his back. And you can never underestimate Kevin Siggy, the McLaren Shadow driver. That's the black and blue, dark blue car you see on the far left of the screen now. With the Williams obviously being more white and light blue, and then the Red Bull Racing Esports car to the right, the first 2 rows. Very interesting also to see Rudy van Buren up there, because we know how crazy he gets when he needs to move through traffic.
Here we go. Into Ravazzi. He's going to floor it. There we go. Any second now, he's going through Ravazzi. He's going to go belt it. As soon as he gets around this corner, that's when he can floor it. Any time. Didn't go for it. I was expecting, as soon as he came out of there, I was expecting to floor it, but he didn't. So where's he waiting?
To go in the middle of the 2 Ravazzas, so that everybody was still going through that first corner when he was off. But he's waiting for the start-finish line.
He could, obviously.
Which is
difficult.
He's going to get them tight in the
It's going to be difficult because it's such a flat-out run in towards Tamburello, but you know he's in control. He can do what he wants. There he goes.
There he goes. He rated right to the actual start line. He's set it properly to a race, and away we go. The Porsche will lead. Peo Pef gets himself a good start with Wisniewski up tight behind him as well, with Tomola in the Red Bull just closing in on the McLaren there. We had a good start, I think, from Schoenwald. He's still holding that 6th place. Just tucking him behind with Jajovski in 5th place. Oh, just getting pushed off. Who was that? That was in front of Rudy van Buren. I think that was Bianca Lila that was just getting shrugged off the track slightly there as they all pushed down, but it's a pretty clean start.
Yeah, it was Bianca Lila that said hi to the grass there, but everyone else is in good shape right now. Peo Pef now under pressure by Nikodem Wisniewski, who wants to run away from Kevin Siggy, who slotted into 3rd after the first laps, and then it's Joni Tomola right behind him. We see Jajovski still hanging in there as well. That's the top 5. Did we lose anyone there? No, Jajovski was in 5th before, so that's all good. Manuel Biancolino obviously dropped a place. We saw that while Rudy van Buren won 1 due to that. Everyone else stayed the same. So the top 10, it seems, we're running quite well through the first corners here, but look at that. Kuba Brzezinski right now is 3 wide into the chicane in the back. I had that on my camera now, side by side with with Jonas Raivio. That's the teal car in the front, and it seems like Dennis Lind will also slip through with the Bentley here alongside Brzezinski, the second Williams Esports driver, coming down to the next corner. Let's see if Dennis Lind can stay up ahead. It looked like it under braking. Should be strong enough on the Bentley. Passing through, that's it.
Yeah, that was tight though. Sabti falling back, Brzezinski as well, all slipping through. Lost 2-3 places from that little combination, just being pushed to the right-hand side and obviously fighting for track position. Up the front, it's still clean. Peopev just leading on Wisniewski. Sigi in third, Tomola in fourth. Jajowski currently in fifth place. Schoenveld, Simincic up into seventh place. You know, the man that won the original race when all things got kicked off, you know, everything was closing down. Wisniewski, is he going to try and make a move? This would be a little undercut. Yeah, just a slight little tap, I think, there on Peo, but nothing too serious. But he's got Siggy still breathing down his neck. So if he tries to go for a move, he's got to be careful he doesn't leave the door too open for Siggy to slip through.
That's definitely what Kevin Siggy is waiting for, and he knows that there will be that chance. It's another 12 minutes. It's a very, very short race. If you want to move up the grid, you have to do that as quick as possible, and it seems like Nikodem is dedicated to make that move on Peopev on his Porsche here. See how the top three are following closely. We're going to Tomola with a little gap of breathing room, basically, for Kevin Siggy, so Kevin not too afraid of looking into his rearview mirror currently. We'll see how that plays out later. If Yoni's just holding back a bit, maybe just scoring points. He knows that he's looking pretty good right now on the standings. Everyone going over the curb, little jump, but seems like everyone had it under control.
Yeah, it was a bit of a wild one. Let's have a quick look at the replay. This is back with Dennis Lind squeezing past. I think that's past Brzezinski, wasn't it? That was on the left side there in the Williams. Just squeezing on down, but does eventually make it stick, I think. And then they all funnel through on the inside there. And it was a nice clean move in the end. Basically using Jimmy Nisula as a little squeeze through.
That was Jonas Raivio in front of him that opened the door there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the teal McLaren. Once again, Wisniewski, look how close he is, using all that slipstream to get closer to the Porsche. But no chance going into Tamburello here on the braking to move alongside Peopev. So far, that was one defended lap, basically.
I feel like he just made the move just a little split second too early, and he had to get on the brakes when Peo wasn't braking as early as he'd liked. So just couldn't quite slip through. He's done it a couple of times, a couple of laps already. So he's really looking to make the move there. And you can see just how close Siggy is behind him. So the second he goes through, Siggy is going to pounce and go straight through. It's nice file down the line. No real problems so far. It's been a clean sprint race so far. Further down the field, we also have the likes of Rudy Van Buren, who's putting pressure on Simincic. Schoenveld in the other Porsche as well, on the back of Jajowski. Jajowski, one of the high points runners in the tournament so far. Siggy, of course, the points leader, sitting in third place. It's a good start for him again.
Okay, good. Oh, there's Wisniewski diving up the inside of Peopev. That was quick and dirty, basically. Even though the move wasn't dirty at all, there was just slight contact, I think. But Peopev lost the position, and Kevin Siggy now feeling it. There is a chance for him to also take second position here of Peopev, who seems a bit surprised there by the move of the Williams Esports driver. That was super quick. Trying to get close on the slipstreaming, and then as soon as they hit the braking zone, sweeping out to the left from our perspective, and then overtaking it.
And he really shouldn't have been surprised, because it's the same spot that he's tried 3 laps running to do the same move, and he finally made it stick. Looking at Jajowski, obviously staring down the barrel. Actually, I think that's from the Porsche's view. Siggy, is he going to slip through? I think he will. Should have the drive. Peo, oh, he's forced wide. Very brutal stuff from Siggy, but he makes it work. Peo's going to fight back at him, though. And look what's coming behind him. Tomola trying to sneak on down the inside. Jajowski's having a look at this. He's got a big slice to try and squeeze on around the outside. Not quite going to be enough for him, but that is a move that's worked out for Kevin Siggy, and Peopev is going backwards.
Yeah, they lost a bit of time now to the leader, but also brought Jajowski back into this fighting group, with Kevin Siggy starting the war in this group. And it will be interesting to see if Jajowski tries to get a bit inside that, because we know that the BMW is able to push on the Apex a bit harder than the McLaren in front of him when it comes to breaking into it, trail breaking into it. And he used that. Joni Tomola obviously saw his chance there when Kevin Siggy opened up the door. but it wasn't enough for him to also slip past Payopuff. Look at that beautiful maneuver by Wisniewski, really sending it there, like lick it, stamp it, send it into the chicane, took down Payopuff, and I really think, looking at that, I saw his surprising face even inside the helmet.
His jaw was dropped, yeah, absolutely. We should talk about, obviously, the fact that Tourmalet, he tried to follow Siggy because these are the front two runners with Yayovsky in third place. And points overall, I'm talking, currently. We're at the halfway stage, so these are looking like the actual title contenders now. And they really have been pressuring. It's great to see the top 3 points runners in the top 5 right now, all fighting for position. We're looking at, once again, I think that's from Schoeneveld, right? On the back of Yayovsky. Yes, it is. He's going to try and squeeze on down the start-finish straight. Don't think he's going to quite have the drive to stick it through. Yayovsky should be able to have the better position. He will do track position as they go into the corner there. Simicic, that's got Rudy Van Buren. We're on the bonnet of Rudy Van Buren here, all over Simicic. He's been on the back of him for the last 5 minutes as well. Really trying to force something to work here on that Audi.
A bit of loft tapping the rear of the Audi R8 in front of him, trying to help with speed on the straight. But Rudy wants to move up. He started in 9th, so he won 1 position so far. Oh, a bit of sliding there from Simicic, but keeping the car in check and under control up to the chicane. Now that's where Wisniewski made the move, and we see Joni Tommela now side by side with Payopuff, and right behind there's Yayovsky. There was a bit of contact that opens the door for Yayovsky. Payopuff is forced wide, nearly spinning it there, and Yayovsky is the lucky driver coming out in front of both of them.
Yeah, managed to hang on there. I think it was very close to a spin. I think Simicic and Rudy Van Buren also got through on there. Yeah, Pev's down to 9th. So Dennis Lind even squeezing through. 8th place for Lind, by the way. By far the best position he's had so far. The Bentley obviously working well on this circuit at the moment. That's definitely the best running he's had. Let's have a look at the replay on this one to see how it worked out. So this is back at Nuno Pinto, his view. So what happened back here then? There's a bit of slippy slide in front of him. That's Brzezinski. Yeah, I think so. Oh, and there was a little connection there as well between the two BMWs.
A lot of movement all over that, and Nuno Pinto won a lot of time in those corners. Look at that, he was so far behind this pack, then going into sort of uphill hairpin, and that was Brzezinski being forced wide of Risto Capit, and that should be the BMW in front of him there. But Nuno not able to get through there, still side by side. Nope. It was enough. I quickly checked the standings. He still is. No, he's now in front of. No, he's still behind.
Hold on a minute. So when all that happened, did Yayovsky get past Tourmalet, or did that just happen? Because Yayovsky is in third place.
He passed on the move we saw. With them going side by side, they opened the door because Payopuff was forced wide, and that gave the chance to Yayovsky here to get a podium spot.
And that is a big move. So we have, well, 1st and 3rd in the points in 2nd and 3rd position, with 4th place Tourmalet, who's sitting in 2nd points of the points. It's all very close in terms of points. It's going to make it very tight, considering obviously we will have a switch around at the end of this. Let's have a look at a replay. This is back at Yayovsky. So this was the move. Payopuff in the Porsche, force-wise. That's Tourmalet on the right, and Yayovsky just benefiting from it. And we were talking about how tight these were, compacted through there. And Payopuff, I think he tries to bite back a little too much there, and that's when he started going sideways.
I'm actually surprised that he didn't hit any other cut. We saw it in the background, how Payopuff came back onto the track all the way to the other side, and there are another 2 cars past him. So we're lucky that we didn't saw a big one here. By the way, in 7th and 8th, that's the current fight between our real-life drivers. Rudy Van Buren going up against Dennis Lind. Dennis Lind still trailing in the Bentley, but that's 8th position. A really strong race so far here in Imola for the Lamborghini driver on the Bentley here, doing a good job trying to keep the dream of a Bentley win alive in the GT Pro Series, as he's the only one that brought this car into the pack. In the background, I also saw Jonas Raivio going side by side with Karen van Doren. That's another red line BMW in the back. But Rudy Van Buren once again closing that gap here to Simicic in the R8. Way better exit, it seems there. Can he go side by side? Simicic trying to cover up the inside. They will go into the next chicane. And I think Rudy managed to be at least alongside the rear quarter panel, but it wasn't enough. And that brings Dennis Lind now into this.
Oh, and he's just sending it down the outside. That is a ballsy move if he makes it work out. Rudy's still on the inside of him, but Dennis Lind is really trying to make this one work out as he tries to pile it down there. It's forcing Rudy to get a bit of pressure down now. Now, coming into the corner, Rudy should have the better drive. Yet, absolutely has the track position, but look at Dennis just trying to squeeze back on the inside of him. He'll be on the outside of this corner, though, so he shouldn't work out for him. Rudy should have a position, but Dennis is hanging on in there.
Round the
Dennis trying
outside of
everything.
Aqua Minerale as well. I think he's done it.
Oh, there's Player Path now getting involved as well. The Porsche is back. A bit better run out of that hairpin there because he wasn't in the fight before, but the Bentley now trying to defend. That worked well here for Dennis Lind, and he won a position of Rudy van Buren. He will be furious right now because he had to give up that spot to Player Path as well and drop down to 9th. Definitely not what he wants to do. So it'll be interesting to see now if he can fight back.
Some great racing right there. That's what you would love to see. That's what we've been paying to see. The irony is that Simicek was the one that was being challenged throughout all that, and he's just nonchalantly going about his business in 6th place. Like, nah, it's fine. Nobody got near me there. It was nothing to worry about.
We just lost one of the AAA Esports BMW. I quickly saw on another camera, Hani Al Sabti smashed his BMW into a wall. There was a missing rear wing. So he now retired from the race. That is, I think, our first DNF of today. Yes, it is. And Kuba Brzezinski also dropped down to 28th. So something had to happen there to the Williams Esports driver. And now he's all the way back in the pack. There's another fight currently between Dennis Jordan and Risto Capet. That's 19th and 20th. While we once again have Jajowski under pressure on screen here by Joni Tomola. And then it's, that's Arne Schonfleet in the back. I really like that Arne is always the quiet drive, really far ahead.
Let's have a look at the replay of this one. This is Al Sabti. Now, he's 4th currently in terms of points, and he's just lost it, I think. Did he get tapped in the back? I don't know. It looks like he maybe just lost it in the corner there, so didn't see whether he'd got a tap or not. Didn't notice anything. It looked like he just maybe put a wheel on the grass. I'm not too sure. Either way, he's gone, and that's a big hit for him. As I say, running in 4th place in points overall. Won't get much for this one. So, Tomola still keeping the pressure on Jajowski. Probably a little unhappy that Jajowski benefited from Tomola's overtake earlier on Pierpeth. And obviously that means that Sigi just ahead of them and Schoenveld behind is getting a good look at what exactly is going on between these two. Hoping they can benefit from this one, but they are both trying to run as close as they can to one another. Further down the field, obviously Dennis Lind up into 7th place. What a performance from him today. He's starting to gain ground on Simoncic as well in 6th, but running out of time here with just 38 seconds to go of the sprint race.
Yeah, if you want to make a move, that's the same for Rudy van Buren, then it has to happen now. This will be the last lap, and it seems like Nikola Wisniewski will take the win here in the sprint race, which will put him on 10th position starting into the main race, and Manuel Biancolila would then be the leader if it stays like that. But Biancolila has Kevin van Doren on his back, just like Pierpeth has Rudy van Buren all over his rear view mirror. So you even see that. The cars you see in the back, the McLaren and the BMW, right behind Rudy van Buren. That is Manuel Biancolila against Kevin van Doren. And behind that is Jonas Raivio. So they all have a shot still for pole position in the main race. But for that, Kevin van Doren would need to use all of the last remaining half of the lap here to make that pass.
Yeah, so time is up. Sprint race, obviously, as soon as they pass the line, which will be in a couple of moments, Wisniewski will take it. And Biancolila, we've seen him a couple of times starting out in the main race, finishing in that 10th place, but I pity him with Rudy van Buren up behind him because he is going to be seething after losing those 2 places to Lyndon Pev earlier on. Further down the field, you can see, further up the field, I should say, Schoenveld in the now the highest finishing Porsche, which will be 5th place, obviously with Pierpeth having that error earlier on, sliding out. Wisniewski takes the checkered flag, 1st place for him. The Williams driver, he qualified in fairness in 2nd place, so a good drive from him today. And there's Dennis Lind, 7th place finish in the sprint race. That is going to obviously reverse in the main race.
Doran made it. Doran made it past Biancolila.
No, wait, what just happened to, are you sure that's not Biancolila having a, the thing that finishes at the end or what?
No. I think
Van Doren's got past him, yeah.
Yeah, I think Van Doren
He's
made
in
it
10th.
happen on the very last corner there, passing me out Manuel Biancolina, because I saw Rudy Van Buren being side by side with Payo Pef there, but it wasn't enough. Payo Pef stayed in 8th, Rudy Van Buren in 9th, but Kevin Van Doren is definitely listed as 10th position, with
100th of a
Biancolina
second.
losing it there. Oh dear.
So on the
There's a replay.
line. Yeah. Let's have a look at this. On the line. Oh my god. Photo finish,
Drag race.
boys. Photo finish.
That is the first I do not believe Demon moment, I would say. You could have done it here,
Absolutely.
Lee. You could
I
have done it
mean,
here.
yeah, if I'd have seen it live, maybe.
But what a finish! I mean, we always say it's exciting racing that we'll see in the GT Pro Series, just like in the GT Challenge Series. But so far, every round brought something to the table that we haven't seen before, and it's absolutely amazing. And this finish is one of that. Kevin Van Doren making sure that he starts on pole position in the main race with that last moment, last millisecond pass against Manuel Biancolina.
I mean, that, we always say when there's like 30 seconds to a minute remaining, that's when people are going to start making some crazy moves. But that's just about, just about does it. That's on the line. Just a bumper, not even a car, like it's a tiny bumper, a bit of paintwork. That's all that did it. Gone in past him, got the better drive out the corner, whichever it was. Maybe small error from Biancolina. And that's big, because obviously it means that Biancolina now will be starting in 11th place, while Van Doren will be starting at 1st. It's massive.
Yeah, definitely an advantage going into the main race. That is for sure. Like I said, we only had that one DNF. That's Hani El-Sabti. Kevin Ryan, surprisingly, in 28th position. We'll see that on the next slide. At least to me, that is very surprising. The Simtech driver not up to the pace that he was able to show at Virginia International Raceway 2 weeks ago. So that will be interesting. If he can do that, maybe in the main race, Yuri Kastorp in 18th with his Singularity Racing Audi. Nuno Pinto managed to get 13th. Another good result for him there. But this main race now, I think with that's now Kevin Van Doren and Rudy Van Buren starting 1st and 2nd, right?
Yes. Yes,
should be
I
the
believe
case.
so,
That's
because
a
he couldn't
team
get
red
past
line.
PFF, yeah.
That's a fully team red line front row.
Gonna lock it out, and there's no team orders. I guess they're just going to go for it. Although Van Buren is obviously the highest points runner for them, I believe. Overall, he is currently sitting in 5th place in terms of points, whereas Kevin is down in 14th. So he's quite a way off. 509 points for him, whereas Van Doren is on 541. 567 is the lead currently, with Kevin Siggy, Tormala, Yayovsky, and El-Sabti. And El-Sabti having a DNF in that race is definitely going to hurt his championship chances.
Talking about championship chances, if you just tuned in, because I saw that in the chat, this was just a sprint race, 15-minute sprint race, and now we head into the main race based on the results of the previous race. But to make it entertaining, first 10 are swapped around. That's why Kevin Van Doren is now on pole position after that amazing move against Manuel Biancolina, who did not only lose one position and the points attached to it, but also a chance for way better positioning in the main race here. So let's hope he will find his groove again, because that was probably a devastating blow there in the last second of the race. With the all-out Team Redline front row, will be interesting to see if they're running full attack. Do they run multi-21? I don't know.
And let's talk about the start. Let's get Aiden in here. Let's talk about that start, because that surprised all of us, right? He waited almost till the start finish, literally on the line before he went. We expected him to go at the Rivazza, and he just held them all back.
Yeah, I mean, given how long that pit straight is on the run towards Tamburello corner, well, the Tamburello chicane, as it has been for the last 20-odd years, but what I was expecting was for the pole sitter to go in between those two corners and maximise the run down Tamburello, because it would have caused everyone behind to still be going slowly, and then the leaders can bolt away and get that cushion between them. So we'll see if that remains the same in this race. We've got the two red line guys on the front row, so with maybe some collusion between the two of them to try and maximise their getaway. I don't know, but they've actually just a reminder from the start of the Nurburgring feature race, where the teams had spotters calling when the leaders had gone. They're no longer allowed to do that because of the carnage that has been caused. But while I'm still here, I should bring your attention to some penalties that are going to be called during the race. So Yuri Kazdorp has got a penalty from the last race, so it's going to be carried over, and he's going to serve it and drive through it in this one because he bumped Risto Capet off the road when fighting for position, so that's an avoidable contact penalty. Kevin Ryan has got 3 penalties. One because he forced Risto Capet off track. Another one because he forced Risto Capet off track, which was the race-ending collision at the end of the race. And on the in-lap, he hit the back of Kevin Siggy. So Kevin Ryan is actually on probation for this race, so if he gets another penalty during this one, he's going to have the same problem that Darren Mrochek had, which is having to sit on the naughty step for 1 round. And the other penalty, that's actually not a penalty, that's an infraction. Okay, so yeah, I can't read. Kevin Ryan's actually got 2 penalties. The final one was an infraction, and Nick Wisniewski has also had an infraction because he made contact with the pit wall at the end of the last race. So not that many penalties, considering everybody thought Virginia was going to be a carnage fest, but you know, nice, decent driving from everybody in this race. So hopefully, the 45 minutes will be very, very smooth, and we won't have too many retirements.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of incidents, obviously Biancalila off track, but that was just racing incident near the start. Pio Pev, that was racing. We did have, obviously, I think it was Awasapti that went off. I didn't exactly see whether he'd got a nudge in the back, but really that's all I could think of that happened in that sprint race. I think it was very clean, but obviously we got 45 minutes ahead of us. You can see the countdown. We're obviously just everybody just having a warm-up in between, and then they'll shuffle the grid, and we'll be ready to go. So yeah, don't worry, that wasn't it. That wasn't the race. The big race is yet to come.
Definitely is. And before heading into the main race, I would like to highlight that we have different cars here. Everyone knows that. We had some questions in the chat asking, are they all the same? And they just look different. No, they're not. They're not the same. They have different weaknesses. They have different strengths. There's also a BOP that will be adjusted after every 2 rounds. That was adjusted in front of Virginia, and it will be adjusted again after this one here. So we might see some changes to the cars. Again, last time we saw some cars getting a bit more power, a bit less weight, all that different stuff that can happen in balance of performance. But it seemed like that while the Porsche is strong here in Imola, could it be that that only applies for the short term of like a qualification round? As at least in what we saw, besides Arne, Pio Pav was definitely not on the pace he was before.
Well, Nuno Pinto had a podium at the Nurburgring in an Audi, so it's difficult to tell because we're applying with the BOP to the cars every so often. It kind of makes you think, oh, is this a track thing or is this a BOP thing? But Imola doesn't have the fast runs in the same way that VIR had. We saw the BMW just be so much of a straight line monster last time out. It doesn't seem to have carried over into this one, where the only real burst of speed is this long straight that Daniel Pastor's currently on now. We're now looking at Ferrastani going through Piratella, which is a corner where you want your downforce. So that's probably going to suit the McLarens a little bit more. And then through Aqua Minerale, which is these 2 right-handers, that's going to suit the Porsche a little bit more because it's you want the balance of the car. So yeah, very different strengths and weaknesses on each car. That Imola seems to have neutralised for each one, as it so happens, I think.
We're on board with the only AMG, by the way. I just looked at it, I was like, that's an unlikely hood we normally don't see, right? This is Ferris Stanley,
yeah. And
it is the AMG GT, the only one in here. So he's another of those, let's say, freelancers in terms of kart choice. Just like Dennis Lind being the only Bentley, this is the only AMG. By Satellite Racing, his teammate is Jimmy Nisola, but he is fielding a McLaren, unlike so many other drivers, because the McLaren was really strong in the hot lap qualifier. Then drivers were able to choose again, but most stayed with the McLaren that they used already in the pre-qualifier, so they kind of used the car, not necessarily due to it being the fastest car. It's just currently we see it up front because there's so many of them, and obviously some of the best drivers out there in the GT racing world in terms of rFactor2 had chosen that car. So don't get that wrong and mixed up in terms of balance of performance. It also always depends on who's actually piloting that car. That has an impact. We're just waiting until warm-up runs down and then we head into the main race here, which will once again probably feature a very interesting start because it's the first time that we see a team starting together in row 1 going into this. So another first time here.
We've also got Dennis Lind's Bentley in 4th, which is something we've not seen as of yet. So I'm really looking forward to the start of the second race with all the different cars that we've got on show.
It was great to see Dennis putting a nice move in as well. Obviously, Rudy was on your screen there, was the one that had to pay the price, and PFF also sneaking through. And, it was all about the move when they were trying to make it on Simičić actually, and Simičić just carried on, got away with it. Ended up finishing out in 6th place, didn't he? Martin Drilland on your screen. Haven't seen too much from him today. Has been prevalent in the previous races, but hasn't had the best of results so far today, it seems. We'll see whether he can perform. And obviously, Simičić, the highest Audi finisher as well, his teammate.
On your screen once again are the race results. So remember, Wisniewski will be in 10th, not starting first into the main race. Kevin Siggy then starts on 8th, Jajoski on Siggy 9th, Jajoski on 8th, Tomola on 7th. All that lot until we get to first, which will be Kevin van Doren. So basically just this one reversed. I'm not asking director now to do that because I wouldn't be able to read it if it's on the hat. Basically, how do you say that? It's upside down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Reverse works.
Mirror.
I wasn't
Reverse
really
order.
remembering how to do that, since I'm obviously not English, as you can probably tell. Even though I can tell you that's not a French accent. Once again, I'm reading that in the chat. Obviously coming from Leeds people, as always. That's fine. I'm really looking forward to the main race. I mean,
I heard Greg's in there.
now that we know the strength of field that we have in the previous rounds, we had different winners. So it's not like we have someone totally dominating the current GT Pro Series. And we're not changing the grid until the end of the season, after round 6. And then we get the new drivers in from GT Challenge. I'm just really interested in seeing how it plays out in the long run, because Kevin Siggy wasn't really the one putting up highlights, but he's currently the leader of the championship, right? Then there's Arne Schönfleet in there, who is always more quiet in terms of broadcast, as he's mostly not in any fights, besides now in Imola, still scoring very, very strong. So is there anyone right now for you guys on the grid that we may be overlooked in terms of the overall results?
I mean, obviously you talked about Siggy. Siggy's always kind of been up there, right? He's always been a top 5 runner, it seems. But as you say, like we weren't talking too much about him at the start, but he absolutely has performed. Tomola, obviously, it seems to have gone from strength to strength, I think, throughout the series as well. So I'm not too surprised to see them both up there. And don't forget about, obviously, Yayovsky had a great first race. Him and Van Buren had that like big challenge in that first race, right? They were the two. But then Yayovsky, he was out in the second race. He didn't finish the actual race. He got a big fat 0 points for that one. So for the fact that he's still in 3rd place puts him, for me, I think a favourite to take the championship.
Yeah, definitely always showing a strong performance, especially in Imola. We saw that pass when someone opened the door for him on the inside with Tomola on the far side and Peyo Path. And he went for it. He sees that gap, locks onto it, goes through. A very interesting driving style. I'm currently looking at the results once again, not of Imola, but of the previous rounds. And we saw that Dennis Lind was listed as 25th. Now with a lot of points here from Imola, he could really climb up the ranks, because Robin Pansa, I think he was last or close to last on our sprint race today. And Yuri Kastop also didn't do well. Kevin Ryan didn't do well. So all these people are in front of Dennis Lind, who, if he has another strong result here in the main race, could really leap towards, let's say, the top 15 even here.
So here we go. This is going to be the start of the main race. 45-minute timer. As many laps as they could do in that time. Here's the grid order. Kevin Van Doren starting out at the front. He's going to be the pace setter. Rudy Van Buren, Peyo Path. Dennis Lind, 4th place. Best start, best performance he's had so far in the series. The Bentley starting to perform for him. Simičić in 5th. Schoenfeld in 6th. I get his name wrong, I think, eventually. Tomola in 7th. Yayovsky in 8th, who we saw making that awesome send-it move. Siggy and Wisniewski in 9th and 10th. And then, of course, Bianca Lila. Oh, my word, he's going to be kicking himself. He's down in 11th place with Ravio behind him in 12th. Then Pinto, Briliac, Nisula, who actually I thought would do better today. Jimmy Nisula and Pastor both have had good performances in the past, but today doesn't seem to be working as well for them. Borja Milan, he was leading in the last race for quite a while, actually. And Yuri Kastrop, Kastorp, I got it, Aiden. It's all right, I got it. Message received. Yuri Kastorp down in 18th.
Martin Dillon 21th, then it's Stibby Shara in 22nd. Jan von der Heide, the only essential driver, if I remember that correctly. Ferris Stanley, we see the only AMG in 25th. Brzezinski after his, I think it was spin there in the sprint race, only on 26th. Kevin Ryan 27th, and Hani El Sabti, who's now having a rear wing again. They're expensive, so if you ever find them on the racetrack in real life, I'm not joking, make sure that you actually bring them back to the teams. There's so many parts laying around sometimes on the racetrack, and it really helps the teams if they get them back, because you never know if they might be able to use them again or whatsoever. So bring them back, but El Sabti got one again. That's important for his BMW to work here. Kevin van Doren, it will be the first time for him in the GT Pro Series to open a race here, and he got his teammate right at its side. As added defensive, and then we got Payo Paf, who was struggling a bit in the sprint race after being the pole setter on qualification, and then right next to him, that is Dennis Lind. Arne Schunflet, we saw on the left side there as well, the colorful Porsche. Will be very interesting to see if the Porsches may be able to start a bit better, and if anyone can crack that Team Redline first line here.
Yeah, the question is, where will Kevin send it this time? When will he start things off? Will it be at Ravazzi? Will he hold on like Pierre Pef did? Right up behind him as well. He's going to be hoping to draft through past Kevin Van Doren as much as he can. He's holding certainly as tightly as he can on that bumper without passing Kevin. Nice double file all the way, stacking, ready to go. Who's your money on?
In terms of starting, I really think that Rudy should be the strongest starter here. But we also know that Dennis Lind, after being probably full of adrenaline coming from the sprint race here, he could just ride that wave, right? He could just pass everyone because he can be aggressive enough, that's for sure.
So it is going to be pretty much at the start-finish line once again. So maybe it's an order they've decided on, but we're waiting for Kevin. We're watching his bumper. When's he going to put his foot down? He's waiting, he's waiting, he's waiting all the way to the line. Look how much stacked up there. They're all backing right up. He's going to go in a minute. Any second now, he's got to floor it because they're about to cross the line and he's got to go before it. He's waiting till the second. They're practically on the line, and away we go. The race is underway. 45 minutes of action pace, and immediately Dennis Lind looking to make a move. But look at that. Simic, I think, has snuck past maybe on Dennis Lind there. Behind him, he's just alongside. No, he couldn't quite make this race stick there. And that is a good start from Kevin Van Doren. He's got himself some good pace on Rudy already.
Yeah, Team Redline with a strong start. Dennis Lind had to slot into 4th. That's Payo Paf in 3rd there. Schunflet had to let the Audi of Simoncic pass, and now he got, who's on the back of him there? Is that yeah, that's Tomola, and side by side already, Forbes Nevsky, and that was another AAA Esports BMW. Who was that? Quickly check that. That was, by the way, Erhan Yayoski, with Kevin Siggy being in 10th right now. Biancolina had to drop a bit. He's 13th. And we're on board here with Yuri Kastorp. It's another R8 LMS GT3 Evo. Biancolina lost the position against Nuno Pinto in the Butler Motorsport livery, just passing there. Oh, Biancolina going slightly into that turn there. But still, it was Kastorp that lost a lot more time there coming out of that corner, not able to carry any momentum onto that.
Absolutely, Simincic, he's been under pressure. Schoenfeld just up behind him. Schoenfeld, I'm actually calling him an airport now. It's slowly drifted into the airport.
It's less an airport and more a fleet carrier. Schoenfeld, you know?
Schoenfeld, yeah, that's it. Oh dear me. But either way, the Porsche is doing well. It's the highest running Porsche, obviously, with PFF Actually just ahead of him now because we've had a reverse order switch. Dennis Lin, we just saw him switching over there. Did he make the move stick? Arnie did. So Arnie's going to be able to get through. Dennis Lin not able to get past POPF there, but it does look like Arnie has managed to make it work and pass Simičić. And look at this, Jimmy Nisula also looking to try and make it work through at the back. Not Nisula, sorry, Jani Tunnevel. Tourmala, I'll get his name right eventually.
One day it will happen. But yeah, the Red Bull Racing esports driver with Williams esports right behind that. So we're basically looking at Formula One right now in terms of teams right behind Johnny Simičić from Burst Esports. Burst Esports not yet in Formula One, just to make that sure. They didn't bought that one yet. In the back, I think I saw someone spinning. Martin Durland currently dropping hard with the Singularity Racing Audi there. Down to 25th now for him. Very unfortunate, a very good driver. If he gets into the right rhythm, got Ahani Al-Sabti in front of him. Al-Sabti started 28th. He is in 23rd right now after a mistake by Ferry Stanley. So I just tried to have a look at Al-Sabti. Obviously, he started 4th, I think, overall championship going into this race. So he will try to make up as many positions as possible here, as he normally should do as a racing driver, right? Captain Obvious here. But he really has to put the hammer down to get all these positions back. Kevin van Doren, still our leader in front of his teammate Rudy van Buren. So that's a red line and the blue red line going into the last turns of this lap here.
Yeah, absolutely cruising as well. Dennis Lin continuing to put a little bit of pressure onto POPF in 3rd and 4th place at the moment. Not really working out so far. Did try and make it stick, but Simičić still under pressure. Tourmala and Wisniewski up behind him. Jajowski still in 9th with Siggy in 10th. Remember, obviously, the race leaders in the last sprint race. So just having a look at Tourmala. Wisniewski thought about sending it down the outside. We saw him make a fantastic move through the chicane on POPF earlier. So wait to see if he does go for one of those send-it maneuvers once again.
Yuri Kastov doing his drive-through penalty right now, so he dropped to 28th. So in the standings, we'll have a quick look at replay of the start, and that should be Yuri Kastov here, with Bianco Lila on the left. That's Pastor on the right, the Deuce Motorsport car, and Peter Bierlach in the blue McLaren in front of them. And look how Kastov moved alongside under braking here. Everyone trying to stay behind, not touching anyone. And Kastov saw the gap there, saw a bit of space on the outside passing. There was 4 or 5 cars even during that chicane there.
Tourmala still putting the pressure on. Obviously, with Siggy behind him, this could perhaps, I think he's going to be very close to being tournament leader overall. But then again, with Jajowski also putting pressure down, not too sure how it's all going to shake out. Luckily, Aiden can get his maths head on and try and figure that out for us. I'm not good, not even going to contest doing it right now.
Yeah, I think Mr. Shardley gave up with me by year 11. It's horrible. I can't do maths at all. It's trying to keep up with everything, but POPF is actually showing that he's got a cut track next to his name, so we're going to be seeing drivers coming through the pit lane as Jan van der Heide has picked up a drive-through penalty as well. Kazdorp's been assigned his, as has Kevin Ryan, so see those 3 guys come through the pit lane very soon.
That's big. That's going to move Dennis Lind up to 3rd place. Really big for him, obviously, and everybody's shuffling behind him, so that will slow him right down. And Dennis Lind's maybe sending it. He doesn't care. Maybe try and make that move work on POPF. He's going to try and send it once again down the outside. Go for the undercut. No, POPF's just not having any of it.
I'm so afraid that something happens now and then. Dennis Lind has to realize that he would have got that position anyway. Wants to pass POPF. Beautiful switch over onto the inside of the Porsche. Getting through there, sending POPF another spot down, and with that, Dennis Lind is looking at a podium position right now.
And Arnie's looking at this one as well. I mean, I've got to be honest, like, if you think in real life, you know, a Bentley comes through, a Porsche's not going to bounce it back, that's for sure. That Bentley will come through and you're not going to do anything about it. So really nice driving from Dennis there to keep that position. He's got to make sure POPF has gone wide there.
Track. That's got to be a cut track.
I mean, he got the drive-through anyway already, right? So I'm not sure of that.
Pev hasn't yet. It's Kevin Ryan, Yuri Kazdorp, and Jan van der Heide.
I thought
you said Pev. You did say Pev. Absolutely.
I said he picked up a cut track, but not enough to get a penalty.
Oh, I think he may do now, though.
Yeah.
Then he now got another one.
Yeah,
probably for that one.
I think it's 3 and then a penalty. It might be 5. I haven't been given the information on that.
I really have to say,
of Lind.
with the replay here of Dennis Lind, in terms of overtaking maneuvers, Dennis Lind is nailing it today. That dude is on fire. Only great maneuvers, really like trying to fake it on one side, diving down the inside there and squeezing the Bentley through. This guy is making the Bentley famous again in GT Pro here.
Absolutely.
The memes are over.
And you know what? He's been absorbing those memes. He's always said, you know, all the people have been saying how he a real works driver and all that lot, obviously judging him by his driving a Bentley in the series. So he's making it work. He's making it work. Up to third place and counting. And he's actually starting to put a bit of pace between him and Pep as well. So he's starting to pull away. So good on him. Looking back down the line, still Yayovsky, Siggy, Wisniewski, Tomola. None of these have traded places yet. Simičić is starting to be slowly pressured, but it does look like this battle between the two Porsches is where the next move may work out. Arnie is looking pretty hot so far. Obviously had a great overtake on Simičić earlier on, so seeing if he can make it work here.
I have to say that there's another group. While we look at Rudy van Buren launching it on the inside of Kevin van Doren. No contact there. That was good. I mean, they're teammates. They should try to sort that out, not losing any time. So that the red line guys can run away, because they got Dennis Lind now behind them, and Dennis Lind seems to be fully dialed in for the Imola race here. Behind the two Porsches fighting, Pajopath and Arne Schönfleet, there is Simičić, Tomola and Wisniewski. So a three-pack of McLaren 720 S's here. And while we're on board with Nikodem Wisniewski looking at, nope, not anymore. We're now with Simičić looking at Tomola. That's the leading Audi currently, because there's no other Audi in the top 10, if I said that correctly. Yes, it's the only one. And he has to defend the Red Bull Racing Esports from Joni Tomola, who really had an impact on the scoreboard in the previous races. He wants to overtake the first Esports driver, because there will be a bit of pressure also coming from Williams Esports right behind him, and then it's AAA Esports with the BMW, that is Yayovsky.
Dennis Lind must have made an error there, because Pajopath is right back on his heels along with Arnie. So both Porsches nipping at the backside of that Bentley. He had started to pull away a little bit, but clearly he made some error further back that's forced him to get back on his tail. Did you see, obviously, when we were watching the backside of Simičić, Tomola, he kind of tried to make a move for him. Wisniewski, you saw how he is ready to send it. I mean, it worked for him before. That's a wide ride run for Pajopath again there. That may cost him. Yeah, Arnie's going to get past this time. Don't think he's going to be able to defend that one, and he will go through. Pajopath. Oh, they're bringing Simičić right back into this. This is stacking everyone back up. Simičić might be able to squeeze on through. Look at Jimmy Tomola as well. Joni Tomola just behind them. He's looking to make a move, but Pajopath is desperately defending.
Yeah, it's looking good. Obviously, he wants to get involved as quick as possible, because Pajo lost a lot of pace there, and that brought Simičić back, and also Joni Tomola a lot closer to the two fighting Porsches. Arne creating a bit of a gap already. That's very important for him to not be snacked immediately once they start fighting in the back again. And not enough of slipstream here for Simičić to get close to suck himself onto the rear bumper of Pajopath.
Sorry to cut in there. I know Yovski's managed to out-drag Kevin Siggy on the run towards Tamburello, and Jonas Rabio wants a slice of that action as well. But Yovski up into 9th position with a good out-dragging move on Kevin Siggy's McLaren.
And that's big on the points. That is big on the points. These are the top 3 drivers right now. And look at Rabio. Rabio wants a piece of that. He said he'd had a look at it once already, and he may well be able to try and benefit, because Siggy's just focused on trying to get back that position on Yayovsky. And he's got to be careful that Rabio doesn't try and send it up the inside, which he's certainly having to look towards there, but ended up having to brake a little later than he planned. Further on, it looks like everybody's set. There is still Kevin Van Doren. By the way, keep him very tight on Rudy. I thought Rudy, once he got past, I thought he might start pulling away, but it doesn't look like it. There is a healthy gap now between Dennis Lind and Arnie as well. This is the replay of Arnie going for it on Pajopath. So he got close and then just ran wide, trying to get the move on Dennis Lind, and that was gave Arnie all the chance. And then look how close everyone stacks up behind him.
That was taking the chance there as soon as someone made a mistake, obviously, with knowing that, oh, that was...
That was Simic, yeah, he tried to send it.
Having a bit of lag right over the curb, that was an interesting view for sure. Also, further back in the pack, Shara now under a lot of pressure with Brzezinski and Al-Sapti right behind him. That's position 20, 21, 22, because Brzezinski and Al-Sapti both had spins and crashes in sprint race and now want to get back those points they lost there. So Shara probably not up to the pace of these two driver right in his rearview mirror. While we're on Yuna's right view looking at Kevin Siggy. And that is Risto Capit, also not really putting the highlights on like he used to in previous races, also very strong in the BMW competition that we held here on Wednesdays at another type of GT racing, with Cup racing there on rFactor2. We are Manuel Biancolila with Borja Milan. Borja Milan is set a previous race leader in Virginia International Raceway, not really on the same pace here in Imola.
No, not really putting it about. I think really the next chances are going to be coming between or behind Simicic. I think that's where it's happening. Obviously, it's where the cameras are looking as well. You just see them all passing by, with Tomala kind of desperate to get past him now. He really wants to make a move on him. Wisniewski keeps looking. Yayovsky and Siggy just behind them as well. So a lot of points up for grabs with these guys that all want to try and get their authority on this championship and start to maybe build a lead as we move past the halfway stage. At the front, it's all clear. The two red line drivers are Rudy Van Buren and Kevin Van Doren in a great position. Here's the move, or an attempted move, on Kevin Siggy. That's when Yayovsky got past him. Now, Kevin Siggy, the points leader, Yayovsky was third. That was before the sprint race. So this takeover maneuver really could have some mega performances on terms of the points, and then almost switched it too hard there in the chicane.
You need to keep those GT3s in check, use all the aero available. You want to get a lot of traction out of the turns. Since we have those long runs here in Imola, you need all that speed to really make sure that you can defend your position. We're on board with Kevin Van Doren, looking at his teammate Rudy Van Buren. So,
Simicic trying to squeeze on through. Pierre Pev backed up. He must have made another error because Simicic is all over his backside again. So Pierre Pev, and obviously that immediately puts Tomala and Wisniewski on alert, but Simicic is all over Pierre Pev here, and he may well be able to make it work. He's going to be on the outside here. Is Tomala going to squeeze on through Simicic? Maybe. Looks like he's had an elite peek at it. Wisniewski almost got clattered by it. They're all going sideways. They're all trying to squeeze on through around the outside. And it's Tomala that may well lose out here to Wisniewski. I don't think he's quite got the drive coming out the corner.
Very interesting. Once again, it showed if you go for an attempt, you need to make it stick. Otherwise, you find yourself in a lot of trouble with all those fast drivers right behind you that want to take an advantage of your move when you went off the line. That's what happened here for Simicic, who's not on the back of Payev anymore. Instead, he's defending against Tomala and Wisniewski right behind him. So it is a bit of a mind game as well. You want to obviously move ahead, but if you do so, you don't want to find yourself being 2 spots down just because on your first attempt it didn't really work. So sometimes it's better to stay behind, try to read your opponent and find a weakness in his line so you're absolutely sure you can make that overtaking maneuver once you really launch it.
Yeah, just waiting for a moment to send it. Sorry, Aiden.
Yeah, I was saying that Tomala wanted to try and send it on the Simicic into the rFactors to try and get away from Nikodem Wisniewski, but now we're going to see Simicic trying to keep really close to that inside wall to take the shortest possible route towards Tamburello and try and break the slipstream, and now goes defensive to cover off Tomala and Wisniewski. Those two McLarens seem to be pretty decent in the slipstream as Tomala goes to the outside to try and have a sniff. Oh, almost got onto the grass. But Simicic doing what Yuri Kastorp was doing at Virginia, and just putting the car in just the right spot at just the right time to keep that what appears to be inferior Audi from getting overtaken by the perceived faster McLarens.
And it's actually brought Yayovsky back into it, the BMW. You can see he's now on the backside of Wisniewski, so they're slowly, obviously with the amount of defending that Simicic is having to do here, it's starting to stack them up a little bit. Now it's obviously dangerous. Pierre Pev is getting away with it, considering it was him that made the error that started this whole snowball domino effect kicking off here. Looking down the line, Dennis Jordan, is he about to make the move on Pastor? Doesn't look like it. I think he's going to have position. Pastor's certainly not opening any gaps for him, so certainly will hold them at bay at the moment. But the points leaders, it's standing pretty static down there with obviously Yovski. He put that move on Siggy. Siggy has slipped back a little, almost a second between them as well. And that's put Yovski obviously on the back of that racing pack with Simicic stacking up Tomola, Wisniewski and Yovski.
Nuno Pinto defending in his Audi against Manuel Brancolila, Musto GT Esports. Also in that dark orange-yellow livery. But we're back with Nikola Wisniewski, and it seems like Tomola found himself in a similar position that Simicic was before. If you do a move and it doesn't work, then you'll probably find yourself in defensive for the next lap that's upcoming, and that happened here when he tried to launch at Simicic, didn't make it through, and now it's Wisniewski, the Williams Esports driver. They will move alongside after the slipstream.
On the grass.
Oh wow, going over the grass. They're trying to use off-road mode. And now under braking, there's probably a chance for him to collect. And it seems like Tomola will spin out. Yes, that was Wisniewski going a bit too hot into the apex. And the Red Bull Esports racing driver found himself in the grass, coming back on. And that's 15th position. Oh, he will not be happy about Williams Esports there, that's for sure.
No, I feel that's almost certainly going to be a racing incident. I think there's going to be some something said about that one, because obviously Tomola high up in the points as well, and definitely not at fault there. Certainly didn't close the door or anything. Wisniewski just barged his way through it. Yovski obviously looking to benefit from this one. He's now moved up onto the backside of Wisniewski. Here's the replay of it. I mean, in fairness, Wisniewski completely off the circuit there, down the straight, and then almost just tries to continue to send it late on the brakes, and Tomola just holding the race in line.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously when they started braking, it seems like that movement wasn't on, maybe in a different dimension. But later on, when they came closer to the apex, he really were gaining some ground there. And then it was Tomola that tried to get closer to the apex, try to get a good line through the chicane there, and then made contact with Wisniewski. Unfortunately for Tomola, he was the one spinning out and finds himself in 15th. And now he has to move. Oh, he's down to 16th even. And Daniel Pastor passed him as well. I hope there's not much damage to the Red Bull McLaren in the back, because he will try to get back. He needs those points. He could be the point leader, as Kevin Siggy's not doing well right now.
Simicic, oh, he had a good look. So Simicic is the one that's benefited from this. Obviously, he was in full defensive mode up until that moment, and now it's freed him up. Oh, look at this move further down the field. 3 a breadth, and that's Wisniewski being forced out, and that's going to collect two. I think 2 or 3 cars got collected off the left of Jordan there. I think he took 2 out. Yeah, absolutely, force him back.
Yeah, he dropped Shara now to 21. That was the pack I was talking about before. Dennis Jordan, then was Shara, then it was these guys, Sapti and Brzezinski, that were trying to pass for a long time now, and now they've forced their way through. Dennis Jordan, unfortunately, the one that pushed the guys off track here, and now he got the AAA Esports driver and everyone else behind him, and he's the next obstacle basically for Sapti to finally get back on a scoring position.
So there's a couple of nibbles up the field. PFF now in full defensive mode with Simicic on it, hot on his heels now that Simicic doesn't need to defend. Wisniewski also in similar position with Yovski breathing down his neck, and obviously Siggy, etc. following. So PFF is really having to fend off Simicic. Now he doesn't need to hold off Tomola. He's got a new lease of life.
That is true. There's a lot more room now for him to get into the groove and trying to move up ahead. Path once again under pressure, and Simicic. I would say this is attempt number 4. There was a time where Simicic tried that before and it didn't really work well for him. So let's see if he learned from that. Path, obviously a driver that is willing to defend with absolutely everything. And Simicic on the other side, also a driver that knows a lot of tricks up his sleeve there.
Brilliant sending it on Ravio. Doesn't quite make it work out. That's down in 9th, 10th and 11th place as Ravio under pressure from Brilliant in that corner. And then looking further down the field, I can see Nuno Pinto and Nisula all sort of 4 of breadth at one point back there. So they're all shaking out. Don't you really know who's coming out and on top of that, but of course Tomola is at the back of that pack.
He is, and he wants to move ahead. That's Nuno Pinto right behind, right in front of them.
Nice move. Tomola through up to 14th.
I'm not surprised there. We know that he's really, really good when it comes to that. It seems like that No, Brzezinski made the pass there. All right, it's just a lot of things changed there when Dennis Jordan was making contact with a lot of drivers and trying to get through there where everyone started and what happened. Stanley now up to 20th, the AMG GT driver. See what kind of replay we'll get this time. That is Hani Al Sabti, that is Shara on the outside, Dennis Jordan, and it seems like Al Sabti just decided to get in there, pushing one driver off, pushing Dennis Jordan off, and then causing all of that mayhem that happened there. I fear, we normally try to stay away from judging, but I fear this might be a penalty coming in there for Al Sabti.
Hani Al Sabti has actually got a penalty for that. Yeah, it's popped up on my screen just now, so he's going to have to come in and serve that. He's going to be right down the back end of the field for that.
Yeah, it's not been a good race for Al Sabti, unfortunately. So not going to work out so well for him. Simičić still putting the pressure on PFF. Did keep an eye on Wisniewski. Wisniewski made an error back there. Torna through again into 13th. Oh, he is absolutely slicing his way up the field. He's going to be seething from that error earlier on. Don't know whether it's a racing incident. It seems to be because there's been no penalties given. And I feel that maybe looking back at that one, Wisniewski did kind of have a decent slice of his car past him. So who knows?
It was kind of unfortunate that they made contact there. It's that when they started braking, Wisniewski was definitely behind. But under braking, seemed like to have a lot better run into that corner. And then it was Tormola who moved up the inside. So it's very hard to judge. And we also know these guys are absolutely on the edge. I once again just remind all the viewers out there, from first to what, 26th, 27th place, it was just a second in qualification. So if you want to make a move here, if you want to pass someone, you have to be on the edge and you have to be willing to risk it. Just like Dennis Lind was risking it today, just like Kevin Doran was. There's no other way. So it's not about bad driving standards, it's just the quality is so high and the pace is so high, you need to be on that last percentage, throw away everything you know about having a plan B if something goes wrong. You either commit to the move or you just stay behind and don't even try.
Yeah, I think it was like 0.6 between the top 20 as well. So really close stuff. Dennis Jordan, Brzezinski all over his backside once again. Just to keep you guys, obviously you can see Rudy Van Brugge. We haven't looked at him too much. He's kind of leading the field. Got 1.5 second gap between his teammate in the red line, Kevin Van Duren, who made that epic move at the end of the sprint race to get that 10th place and put himself on the pole position for the main race.
Oh, Simičić, PFF stop. I said Simičić on the outside. There was the curb that's unsettling the car. Then slightly making contact again with PFF there, but that was not really moving Peo around. It was due to the
What's going on
the inside?
Who's going to come out on top with this? They're shuffling left, right, center. It's Wisniewski that's going to squeeze on through. That's Simičić that will get a toe in the gravel. Oh. And I think that's Jajovski alongside him as well. It's Siggy, though. Siggy the benefits. So Siggy back past Jajovski and up into 8th place.
Al Sabti's actually retired the car after getting his drive-through. He realised it probably wasn't worth it, but could have stayed in the race and bagged some points. But for whatever reason, he decided to retire instead of serving the penalty.
I can't believe I missed that move. I've been staring at Simičić for literally like 20 minutes, and then the second I look away and start going down the front runners, he makes the move. Let's have a look at the replay on this one, see how it worked.
You see that there's the curb on the inside, also those rubber thingies that are a bit higher, and that unsettles the R8 of Simičić. It was great done by PFF, I have to say, that he was able to catch this car and not flinch it back on the other side. Look at that. Balancing it out, making sure that his Porsche stays online, and with that securing the spot there. There was Wisniewski was moving around. Look at that. Look at, oh, everyone is going left, right, using all of the track to find an opening somewhere. And that made him to pass Simičić. Simičić then collecting with the, what's that, Jajovski's BMW there. And that opened the door for Kevin Siggy to move through.
Yeah, and Siggy's having another look as well. Just a little peek at the inside of Simičić, forcing him to maybe go a little bit more defensive. Jajovski's going to be looking to benefit from this. Remember, Kevin Siggy currently the championship leader in this with right behind him, Jajovski, who I believe will be on second place championship as well points, because obviously with Tormola going further down the field now after that incident. He's up to 12th, by the way. Was 15th, I think he went 15th after the going off the circuit, but he's back up to 12th and still continuing to put pressure onto the back of Peter Briliak further down the field. But look at Siggy. Siggy is all over the back of Simicic. He really wants to get past here.
Yeah, Siggy knows that he wants to be on top of the championship standings when coming out of this. And that's side by side, Simicic and Siggy. The cars in front of this group here, Peter Bialak from Edge Esports looking onto Jonas Raivio, and then it's Jajowski. Between that, Jajowski obviously coming off the race All-Star event, which also happened at the Easter weekend on Saturday. Oh, Siggy a bit sliding out of that turn, but still managed to get enough speed, enough traction coming out there, so not losing a position against that M6 GT3 of Jajowski.
So they're going to keep the pressure on. We'll keep our eye on that one. Obviously, further down the field, other things are happening. Raivio is also putting pressure on Jajowski. This is Siggy trying to make the move. Didn't quite work out for him. With obviously squeezing on through, but didn't have track position. Didn't have the racing line. So Simicic just takes it back. Wisniewski having a little look. We saw him sending it earlier on. Again, Simicic having to make his car very wide through those chicanes.
Defending now, that's what he has to do. Jumping over to Daniel Pastor, that's 16th, and Nuno Pinto in front of him on the 15th. The Pastor can actually make a move here. Good slipstream run though, but not yet in attack range. While in the back, I think it's 20th, that is Shara against Martin Durland. The Singularity driver now closing that gap. Maybe getting closer there to overtake Shara and then getting onto Ferris Stanley. The AMG by Satellite Racing, that's the group you see all the far on the back there coming out of the hairpin.
I'm just waiting for Wisniewski to do the send it move. It was him that sent it on POPF last time, right? So I'm just waiting. Obviously these guys sitting in 5th and 6th at the moment. Made it work out for him last time. We'll see whether, you know, when he gets to that chicane, he has been kind of close to him, and obviously keeping my eye on the race with Siggy, Jajowski, etc. all behind them as well. Nuno Pinto on your screens here, just ahead of Pastor. Ooh, just clumping a big slice of that curve. They all really clatter that curve, don't they? Through the chicane. Rudy still actually stretching his lead now. I think you can see 2.5 seconds, so stretching his lead a little bit over Kevin Van Doorn.
Now Redline having this main race under control, making the best out of the starting positions and of that photo finish of Kevin Van Doorn that got him onto pole position here. Currently he isn't as quick as his teammate, not as quick as Rudy. That's why there's a 2.5 second gap, but then there's also a 6 second gap to Dennis Lind, who might as well get his first podium, while Daniel Pastor looking at the outside of Nuno Pinto. Nuno Pinto tried to defend and totally forgot to brake early enough there on the inside to still make it back onto racing line, and with that Daniel Pastor up to 50.
Straight through, clean as a whistle. As you say, driver error there, so made him through. Wisniewski's going through as well. He's just squeezed up the inside of POPEP, so he will go through into 5th place. A little bit of contact, but it was pretty clean overall. So squeezing up the inside, you could see he was waiting for it, waiting for POPEP to make that error, and obviously that puts then Simicic and Siggy and Jajowski all on their backs as they all look to try and benefit from it.
Another replay coming in. Let's see what we get there. That is Wisniewski against Payo Path onto the hairpin. Payo a bit late there on turning in, and that was enough. Oof. Like that, hello, my door is open, come in, could have dinner together, and Wisniewski not waiting for a second try there, just launching it up the inside, making it through. Bit of contact though, but I wouldn't say that was too dirty. We have that discussion often in sim racing, right? Is something too dirty? Is there too much contact? But I have to say, even though people call this like bumper cars sometimes, this is way less contact than we see in real life. And
I mean,
the real world is harsh out there, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, the contact there was more POPF just turning in on Wisniewski. It wasn't Wisniewski forcing him off the track or anything. It was pretty clean overall. So a nice little maneuver. Now Pierre's got some problems because look at the queue of cars behind him. Simicic is making the move. Can he try and force it around? Oh no, that was never going to work. Honestly, when you saw the move working out. But now Kevin Siggy's going to try and get past Pev. He's got Jimmy Nasuda, Ravio squeezing up past Yayovsky behind him. Siggy's looking to try and get past. He's never going to have position. That may open it up for Ravio. Look at Yayovsky all over his back wing as well. Everybody trying to pick up some points here. We've still got 13 minutes to go in this race. It's not the time to go lunatic mode, boys. You just got to hang on.
Wisniewski's got a drive-through.
Oh, where did you pick up that one?
Very recently. It's only just popped up.
All right, that's interesting. But yeah, we're basically now in the time window of the sprint race, and it was crazy. We saw that Kevin Siggy now all over the back of player path after what just happened to Simoncic, where everyone basically got a position gifted here. For him spinning across all the grass, coming back, just to give you an overview where he is currently in 14, right in front of Daniel Pastor and Nuno Pinto. So he lost quite a lot of positions there. Kevin Siggy not launching it up the inside here for the chicane, but better run out of the chicane. Look at that, the Porsche all over the curves on the outside, not really getting a lot of traction there, and the McLaren from McLaren Shadow able to pass, and that brings in Yayovsky, and that is Jonas Raivio also in a McLaren 650S, so the previous year's model GT3, and then Peter Bialak, and that should be Joni Tomola. A long train of really, really good drivers that will get us a lot of action here for the last 12 minutes.
And that's some great points for Siggy, because obviously with Wisniewski getting the drive-through, it's going to pop him up to 5th place as well, so he's really looking good as a championship leader. Yayovsky's got to get past Pev. He's trying to send it round the outside. Is that going a little too brutal? I'm not too sure. He will have position coming through. Ravio also looking to try and through there. And look who's back there. Look who's back there. There's a cheeky little Joni Tomola having a little look around what's going on to see if he can work his way back into it. He's back up with them. That's a very impressive drive from Tomola to get back in position for this.
And that was a spin with Wisniewski when he made contact with the front bumper.
Tomola dives up the inside of Briliak.
Briliak, I'm kind of missing the highlights. I know he can put on a little bit quiet today on his race here, but now with Tomola around him, and then it's also Risto Capet on the back, not Yayovsky. I called that incorrectly the last time. Is that Jimmy Nisola also? Yeah, that's the last McLaren of this group. So a lot of drivers in here, a lot of big names going at the highest GT championship that we have in rFactor2. And so far, no one disappointing at all. Let's give it a quick check if we have someone that retired. We know that Kevin Ryan's out, Haniel Sapti is out. Last position, by the way, currently is Manuel Biancolila, and it seems like, he's being lapped already. Yeah, he's down 2 laps. There's also Simoncic behind him. That's basically traffic. So not the day for Biancolila after losing the chance for pole position in the main race.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Obviously, he's had to go through pits of some variety because he was in 11th place at the start of this race. So clearly 2 laps behind. He's had some sort of issue. Pev now down to 8th place and seemingly dropping further and further. I don't know whether it's purely down to maybe concentration because he's been just captured, and Ravio is having another look this time around the outside. I don't think that's going to work out. We'll have the inside on the second corner, but that's going to open it for Tomola, and Tomola now having a little peek. Peter Briliak also there. Tomola may get boxed in behind him. It does look like he will do. Briliak may try and send it up the inside. No, Tomola's going to get back in position, but Pev is starting to stack up the McLarens at the moment behind them.
Yeah, what a fighting group that we have on our hands here. And Pev, he finds himself in defensive mode literally all race long since the sprint race. And a lot of pressure on his shoulders, a lot of cars that want to pass him each and every time. So he's not getting a single minute of free breathing, basically, and just enjoying the ride, enjoying the view here at Imola, a beautiful circuit. Instead, there's non-stop action for Pev. Replay once again, that's Kevin Siggy running alongside Pev up to the chicanes. The braking once again. It was just the Porsche being a bit stronger, but also Pev overrunning it, and then we saw that not enough traction on those curbs on the outside, the car getting really wobbly, and that was Kevin Siggy finally passing.
Yeah, nice move. It almost baited Peo into that one, I think. Just outbrained him into the chicane. Now he's sat behind with Tomola, who was running earlier on, I think in 6th or 7th place. Obviously was forced off circuit. That at the time was with Wisniewski, who is running in 5th. Will have to go through that drive-through penalty, which I don't know whether it was because of the move on Tomola. I guess that may be what it was, rather than the move he put onto Peo Pev.
Bit of screen time here for Rudy van Buren, our current leader. Feeling kind of lonely, I would say, after passing his teammate Kevin van Doren for first place. He's now running away. Let's quickly check once again the actual gap. That's now up to 3.5 seconds, so another second from last time we checked. He's also the one with the fastest lap time, 140.7.
Oh, Tomola!
That was beautiful. Right up, Ravio just completely caught napping there. I think he was maybe looking at making a move on Peo Pev, and again, Tomola just sneaks in. Is he going to be able to hold position? They're side by side at the moment. He will have the inside corner here, so should be able to make it stick as they go around. Yeah, forces. Oh, Briliac's going to sneak on through. He was so focused on forcing his position. He will regain it back off Briliac though, but Risto Capit also sneaking through. So Ravio down to 12th from 9th there.
And that's how quick it can go here in the GD Pro Series. He opened the door once and everyone wants to get in there and trying to make that pass. This time it was Jonas Ravio being on the losing end. We also got yellow in sector 2. Let me checking if I can see what happened there. Also further down, it seems like Shara gets closer to Stanley, but not close enough yet. Oh, that is Martin Dillon that we lost basically. He's now down to 23rd. And no rear wing. He only has those wing holders, but no plate anymore. So no downforce for him. He was in 21st, chasing down Shara. Now I can see him on the other camera, spinning the car once again.
Yovski's looking to make a move on Siggy, 6th and 7th place. Remember, these are basically the championship leaders looking to make a move as I'm watching Risto Capit and Ravio on your screen going for him. Keeping my eye on the Yovski. He's dived up the inside and outside on Siggy a couple of times in that corner. Risto, it's not been his day.
Definitely not another spin for him. Finding himself further down the path. He's slotting into 20th, where he finds himself. So now up in the 19th, so you got Jonas Ravio behind him. It's now, everyone start moving again. It's the last 6 minutes, and people are not that patient anymore. They want to make it happen now, and that was Jonas Ravio going a bit over the curve there, and then clipping him. Obviously not the best move. Jimmy Nisola now onto, I think that's Simic, while we see Aaron Yovski now really closing the gap to Kevin Siggy. Could AAA Esports make that move onto McLaren Shadow here? Quick look up the inside just to making sure that Kevin Siggy saw him in the rearview mirror there, going over the curbs, trying to not unsettle the car too much because you want all that traction. But look at the McLaren, a bit quicker out of that and quickly spreading the gap.
So Aiden, let's get going on what was going on with Tomola there, because obviously he was forced to give the position up to Nisula. Nisula himself has gone out with suspension problems, so now Tomola's down in 15th.
Yeah, Tomola forced Jonas Ravio off at Piratella when he made his move, and Jimmy Allison or Ed Trevelyan and Johnson have said, okay, give that position back to Jonas, but yeah, it appears that Ravio's retired from the race, so we'll have to wait for the highlight reel to see exactly what happened with that retirement, because obviously we can't catch all of the action as it happens. As Yovski having a look at
yeah, on board with Yovski. Going. He's made this move a couple of times. He's tried to make it stick, but Siggy is not having anything. As I say, these are obviously the championship points leaders. Siggy currently will be the #1 championship man. He has been coming into the weekend. Yovski also had a great sprint race as well. So these guys are going to be, I think, probably starting to get about 10-20 points ahead of everyone else. With Tomola having the 15th place, Sapti out of there. Rudy obviously is leading the race, so he's probably going to be up into 3rd place in championship points as well. But we're starting to see the points leaders really putting it about.
Let's see what the replay gets us here. Peter Bielak, Edge Esports, and that is Tomola in front of them. Payopath leading that group, and that McLaren between should be Jonas Ravio.
Yeah, it's Ravio. Yeah. This is where Tomola tried to have that lunge at the inside of Tozer that got myself and Lee very excited. It's a lag problem there, apologies for that. And then as they come up to Piratella, he tries that and move again, and then just forces him onto the outside of Piratella, and that's where Peter Berlak says, yeah, I'll have some of that, thank you very much. So I think at some point in coming back onto the track, Ravio damages his suspension.
I have to say, the move was on, we know that. Like, that was a clear opening for Tomola, but I don't know why he went so wide there. against Jonas Raivia. Obviously, there is a lot of space outside of the track, but you can't just push someone onto that. He still belongs somewhere on the track. You can't get invisible. So that was quite surprising to me that Tomola didn't went a bit sharper into that turn, because that was easy to manage.
Nisula in 9th place just made a move on Simičić. Looks like he may be able to make it work, and Simičić will have the inside line. Nisula can't stay.
Kevin van Doren is in the pits right now. I think Kevin van Doren just DNF'd. What happened? He was second all day long.
And that gives Dennis Lind second. Dennis Lind in second place. What a performance in the Bentley. And Arnie
Kevin
in the
Van Doren's
Porsche.
engine's blown up. He might have had the mythical double downshift that might have made his engine go pop that we saw happen to a couple of drivers last time out. But it also appears Nikodem Wisniewski has been disqualified for potentially not serving his drive-through penalty.
Wow, a lot of stuff happening now. Wisniewski is already retired. Obviously, Simičić now has to defend against Jimmy Nisula, but with that, we see Arne Schönfleet, the guy we'll always highlight that it's kind of quiet around him, because there's once again no fight for Arne. But I have to say here in Imola, there was a bit more action for him. It's now on the podium with Dennis Lind being in second, so the Bentley is on its way to the best performance ever in the GT Pro Series, with Dennis Lind behind the steering wheel. Kevin Siggy is then in fourth, and now Yayovsky finds himself in the top 5 once again.
Yeah, I'm just wondering with 2 minutes to go in the final race whether Yayovsky is going to try and make that move there. This is Kevin Van Doren, and
Looks like the engine went
just
pop into
lost out.
Tamburello, yeah.
yeah.
I think that's a double downshift. I think he went down and then all of a sudden got out. That's it.
Or he
Done and
misshifted and the engine peaked too high with the auto blip, and that's that. You know, it's anything can happen in this. As I'm watching Yayovsky and Kevin Siggy getting Siggy with it into Tamburello. They might have another ring dinger going in towards Villeneuve and Toza, if we can get a look at that one.
Is he going to try and dive up the inside? Going to try and stick it wide, as I say. He's coming into what could be the final lap. He's trying to make the move. It is championship points we're looking at between these two, so they are championship leaders racing for that title with just 2 more races to go. As we're at the halfway stage, Rudy Van Buren will be up in the mix as well after this race, after picking up the podium win. But it does look like they're going to be sticking this one out. I'm just going to keep my eye on Rudy to see when exactly he's going to go over the line, because there's 40 seconds left in the race. We're probably going to have 1 more lap as we see Dennis Jordan and Ruben Panzer. Dennis Jordan, he's been involved in quite a bit today, I feel, every time I look at him.
Yeah, he had the unlucky spin there when it was, I think it was Simičić that launched up the inside. No, it wasn't Simičić. It was a AAA Esports BMW that was trying to make a move, and unfortunately he was on the receiving end, spun out, and now found himself all the way down in, which position is that currently? Now that so many cars changed, because Dennis Jordan is 20th, that's the last running car, while Rudy Van Buren starting the last lap here, the Team Redline driver, still in control of the entirety of the race, 45 minutes. We got Yayovsky still on the back of Kevin Siggy, so Kevin Siggy is not done yet. Another lap he has to defend. McLaren Shadow against AAA Esports, and it seems like Yayovsky is now determined to finally pass him. Once again, looking at around the outside, just trying to force Kevin Siggy to go up and cover the outside and then launch to the inside. No chance though. Jimmy Nisula against Johnny Simičić going into the same turn, but it seems like Simičić is a bit stronger on the braking on the Audi, making the pass here. Can he make it stick though?
Oh, Yayovsky side by side. He's got the inside. He should be through, and he is. Yayovsky up into 4th place. Finally gets past Siggy. Is Siggy trying to get back through? I don't think so. Back on your screen as well, Simičić looks like he's going to hang on to the position with Jimmy Nisula, but is Wisniewski going to get open straight up? He will get through. Wisniewski through on Nisula, and Yayovsky up into 4th. What a move on Kevin Siggy. He's waited and waited and waited for the final lap to make it count.
Aiden was right. We lost Payo Path, and I just saw Dennis Lind drifting out of the chicane.
Here's the move.
We can keep it clean. That was the move that we unfortunately missed. Yayovsky versus Kevin Siggy. Siggy with slightly dirty exit there. Didn't manage to have all that momentum available to going onto that straight. But it will be Rudy Van Buren. He's close already to the start-finish line. Question is, can Yayovsky hold on to it long enough to reach this position on the track? It's Rudy Van Buren winning the main race here at Imola for Team Redline, really launching once again his attack on the championship leaderboard. That will boost him upwards. Same for Dennis Lind, who will come second. He crossed the line already. Arne Schoenfeld crossed the line in third. And it's Yayovsky now on the run with Kevin Siggy down the straight onto the start-finish straight. That will not be enough for Siggy. Nope, it is Yayovsky coming fourth, Kevin Siggy sixth, and Piotr Bielak, no one around him. That will be sixth for him, and Simoncic seventh, Brzezinski eighth, and then Nuno Pinto with a great result here for his first race for AAA Esports. So that's the wrong livery here, in front of Jimmy Nisola, who came 10th. Wow, there was a lot of action. Mr. Capet, by the way, came 14th, if you're wondering where he had been. And I think we lost, no, we didn't lose another car in the end. Payo Path, unfortunately, had to retire. I'm not sure what happened to him, though. That's Dennis Jordan and Robin Panzer. Dennis Jordan able to hold on to it during the last lap here. Payo must have been so sad right now, having pole into the sprint race, and then the entire event here at Imola fell apart for him.
Yeah, and same with Tormola as well. Obviously, Tormola was involved in quite a few things today, but yeah. Yayovsky's move on Siggy. Yayovsky doing some fantastic moves today. Obviously, Rudy Van Buren, we didn't talk too much about him, but he kind of led, put that great move on Kevin Van Doren, who's going to be kicking himself, obviously, with the possibly double downshift. We're not too sure. This is Dennis Jordan just a moment ago, squeezing on by there. And Dennis Lind, the second place for him as well in the Bentley.
Rudy Van Buren said on his live stream that it was a double downshift, so that's why we lost Kevin Van Duren from this race. You can see Dennis Lind's actually weaving in the pit lane. He looks very happy with his with his result today.
He can be happy about that, that's for sure. Just saw him even parking in the garage. He went with the car into the garage. That's dedication.
We should talk about Arnie as well.
Well, it's what he does in real life, isn't it? It's probably force of habit.
But it was the wrong one because the game spawned it into a garage, two garages in front of that. But it was definitely a good run for him.
Arnie, though, he had, he fought for that third place. Like, he took Peopev, he took Simoncic, he took over, I think maybe it was, it was Wisniewski, wasn't it? Further on. So he put a good couple of moves on in that Porsche to hang on to that third place, and he fought for it well. So a deserved third place. So it's good to see, obviously at the halfway stage, we're starting to see the Bentley up there, the Porsches up there. It's not just the BMWs and McLarens dominating anymore.
That's true. It'll be interesting to see how much of a leap Dennis Lind will do now. I'm not sure. Aiden, are you already on the points to give us an unofficial one?
The spreadsheet I was working at wasn't synced up to what's actually on the official results, but I'm just looking at, because Dennis Lind's actually 25th at the minute, and he's only scored 153 points over the course of the season. That's with these participation points that he gets for turning up to a race. I think he's going to be around... Well, he's definitely going to be super safe. So he's going to be around the Arne Skirnfleet, Jimmy Nazula region of about 17th, 18th, 19th, I think, with what he's scored. Because that will put him... Yeah, it's around there. Maybe a little bit higher with the way that other people have dropped out.
Interesting to me is we talked about the 5 guys that will drop out of GT Pro immediately after 6 rounds, so after the championship ends, and then the next 5 going into that playoff race against challenger drivers to defend their spots. And all of these drivers that had been kind of in the range there scored very well today. So Nuno Pinto had a strong result. Shara made, I think, 14th in this race. Dennis Lind second in the main race, so that's a lot of points for him. The only ones not scoring that strong is Robin Panzer, then Peopath not in the main race, and Yuri Kastop, Kevin Ryan. So it seems like the last 5 will kind of switch positions with the next 5 when looking at the Imola results.
Well, Van der Heide finished as well. He's going to jump up a tiny bit, but I'll have to see when Jimmy Allison updates the official standings. So if you want to find out, just keep checking in at the Studio 397 forum and just keep checking the main thread for the series.
Yeah, we'll obviously post the results on social media as soon as we have them. We know that the marshals will be all over that. We talked about that already. It's Jimmy and At working on that. So to make sure that we got the right points and all penalties have been served, because there was a lot of action. We will return, though, on the 27th of April with a race at Sebring. We're going on to now Port Sebring International Raceway, which will be a very interesting race. I'm absolutely sure about that. I wonder if it's like we're always racing in daylight, right? Even though it's already dark here for us in Germany, can we have the night at Sebring? That would look so iconic.
Well, I
Can you make it
commentated on
happen? Aiden, can you make that happen?
I'll ask Jimmy very nicely. But yeah, I commentated on our 12 hours of Sebring on Saturday, and I joined I did my shift as the sun was going down, and it looked absolutely beautiful. So if we can have a later start time, please, Jimmy. I don't ask for much.
Definitely iconic tracks that we have here in the GT Pro Series and also GT Challenge, because they're following the same schedule with Sebring and Le Mans as the last race of our first GT Pro Championship. We never had one before, so this is season 1, and then there will be a second season, definitely, with once again the fastest 30 GT drivers, but they will not qualify during via hot laps. They will either stay in the GT Pro Series because they did well in season 1, or they will be guys coming up from the GT Challenge Series that, by the way, you can watch next Monday with Lewis McGlade and Aidan Millward on the microphone. So don't miss that. Make sure it's same time. It's 8 p.m. Nearly all of the rFactor2 races currently are 8 p.m. when they are during the week. That's the same for the BMW Sim M2 CS Cup Racing Cup. That's happening on Wednesdays. So don't miss the GT Challenge, because that's the fight for the spots in the next season of GT Pro. Will be an absolutely crazy environment there. Is there anything, Aiden, you want to tell us about what's currently happening and going on in GT Challenge?
Other than the standard of driving is just as good as it is in this, and with drivers like Michi Hoyer and other well-known drivers across the various rFactor2 series, whether it be open wheel or closed cockpit. So yeah, join in, myself and Lewis. It'll be some good banter on the mic, and hopefully some great racing as well. And just to add to your point about when it starts, Renee, that's Central European summertime that starts rather than GMT, so we don't want to cause any confusion with that. Although you'll turn up an hour early, and you'll be able to, at least you'll be around for the start. But yeah, Central European summertime, whatever time is in Copenhagen currently, that's when it starts.
Once again, I say thanks, obviously, to Lee Demon Smith joining me here on the microphone. Same for Aidan Millward. My name is Rennie Butler. We will be back on the 27th of April with the rFactor2 GT Pro Series presented by the Rays, obviously supported by TW Steel and Fanatec. Don't miss that. See you there.